Hi, good day. It's nice to have you back again. I hope that you're surviving this lockdown phase 4 of the coronavirus. But we are going to look at something very interesting today. We are going to look at what I call people. Why do people rob themselves? Now, why would that be? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Why would people rob themselves? Let's have a look at why I say it's very important to understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Right, let's jump right into it. Many people unfortunately don't understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Now, why would you say that is? Because when we look at advertisements, we see that banks and financial institutions offer people asset finance. They say, let us finance your assets. Then they're referring to your cars, your furniture, your expensive toys, maybe the tools that you use in your garage. Now, would you say those things are assets? Even your primary residence, the house that you stay in, is that an asset? We're going to look at that. And also, there's a very, very big difference between an asset and a liability. Now, people call that assets because they hear that banks and financial institutions call that. But I'm going to give you a simple method of quickly understanding whether you are dealing with an asset or you are dealing with a liability. Now, it's very important and it's very easy. When we're talking about an asset is only an asset when it puts money into your pocket. If we look at it on this graph and chart here, we can see, if you look at your house, if you have a property that somebody is renting and you get net rental, you get an income stream from that property into your banking account, that is an asset. That's truly an asset. Now, what will we then say is a liability? We've seen now the one, it's important, it pays you money. It puts money into your pocket. It strengthens your banking account because, like your salary, it puts money into your banking account. If we talk about a liability, it's just the opposite. When we look at a property, and we are just dealing here with property, when we are looking at a property, a liability is something that takes money out of your account for you to finance that through the bond that you pay, through the levies that you have to pay on that asset. So instead of the asset putting money into your bank account, the asset steals from you. It takes out, or that function, it takes out money from your banking account to prop up your asset. And that is why people get mixed up. So it's very, very easy just to understand that fact. Now, if I ask you your residential property, because many people say, no, my residential property for sure is an asset because I've paid off more on the bond than what I still owe. Really? What happens if you can't afford to pay your bond for the next 4 or 5 months? Now, I know we're in totally different situation with this coronavirus because banks and financial institutions have offered people a payment holiday, and you can have a payment holiday for 4 or 5 years. But remember, when we're back to normal again, you might be retrenched. Now all of a sudden you don't have enough money to pay your bond for 4 or 5 months, and that is when the bank will repossess your property. They will then sell that property on an auction, and that auction is only attracting people that want to buy bargains. So where your property might be worth 2 million, people at the auction will only offer, let's say, 1.1 million. Your bond might still be 1.5 million, and you thought I can sell the property for 2 million and I only owe 1.5 million, so I've got 500,000 cash which I can use. Now normally that does not happen. So what happens if you still owe 1.5 million but they only realize 1.1 million through the auction? Then you are still liable for the difference, the 400,000. They will come after you and attach other assets that you have. That's why it's so dangerous to call your residential property that you stay in, to call that an asset. And also remember, you don't want to sell the residence where you stay in. You don't want to sell that just to settle some debt or just to make sure that you can pay off some other debts that you have. So it's very, very important. Don't think of your property. We call that a lifestyle asset. That's where you like to stay. That's where your family gather. It's a total different asset. Your residential property doesn't put money into your pocket. Another anomaly that we find with people, they normally say, but you know what, when I retire, I will sell my residential property for 6 million. I will then use 3 million of that to buy a smaller property in an estate or an old age home, and then I can invest 3 million. Now I can tell you, I've been dealing for 35 years with that. I very, very seldomly, and yes, there have been exceptions where people realize more money from the property that they sell, and then they buy a old age home, or they buy into another property, a smaller property. That just doesn't happen. So don't bargain on selling your residential property one day and including that in your financial planning strategy. So I hope this has helped you to understand not to steal from yourself. Don't buy assets that take money from you. Get assets that put money into your pocket. Passive income, that's very, very important, and try to build up a passive income stream as early as possible in your career. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.